two things I really love. Number one, I love football so much and I love architecture. So two of those things coming together, I had to do a video on it. So this video, I'm going to be talking about the stadiums that we just watched in the World Cup and some special history about them. So the first stadium I'm going to talk about is the stadium that actually hosted the opener of this 2026 World Cup, and that's the Estadio Azteca. So that stadium was opened in, I think, 1966. It was designed by Pedro Vasquez, I think Pedro Ramirez Vasquez, legendary architect as well. And what's interesting about this stadium is it's a stadium that holds a lot of history. Pele won the World Cup in that stadium, and I think Maradona as well won the World Cup, played the final in that stadium. So that's a lot of history. So for me, what I really love about the stadium is the fact that rather than changing the stadium or rebuilding it, right, they found a way to work with what they have because they didn't want to lose the history. What they did was rebuild the roof while keeping the main bowl intact, and then they did some accessibility upgrades that made the stadium able to hold the 2026 World Cup opener. So for me, that's something special. It's important to reuse rather than rebuild. So my next stadium is the Sophie Stadium. The Sophie Stadium hosted Spain, Belgium. Remember, Spain won 2-1. So for me, I really love that stadium. Why? Because of a few reasons. One of the first reasons is because it's designed by HKS Architects and it is arguably one of the most expensive stadiums in the world. I think construction finished around 2020. A really interesting thing about the Sophie Stadium, if you check the plans, it sits below ground level, so it kind of integrates into the landscape of the area. If you think about stadiums, they're always just like towering high structures that everyone's walking into. Another interesting thing about the Sophie Stadium is that it was covered by one entire canopy. They call them ETFE canopies, ETFE or EFT, I can't remember. But that's the kind of canopy that was used to cover the whole stadium. Is the ETFE material that they used to construct it made the whole building really lightweight, And that's important for us to know that it's not always about building heavier. You can actually build light structures and they'll stand the test of time. So for the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's one of the most sustainable structures in the world. We're talking from rainwater harvesting to sustainable practices. I think it's even LEED premium certified. If you know anything about the LEED certification, it's only for projects which meet all the sustainability goals and like targets. And the fact that it has like all these petals that open up like the iris and then they close back, like, yo, that's genius. Shout out to HOK Studios. That's architecture. Like, that's architecture at its peak. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I feel like that stadium was hugely influenced by the Pantheon in Rome. So before I talk about the final stadium, me, I'm a Ronaldo fan, but I respect Messi. Messi is a legend. What he's done in the game. Like, Ronaldo was gifted, of course, but maybe not as gifted as Messi. If I start this conversation today, those two guys, they are very iconic, Ronaldo and Messi. But me, I'm a Ronaldo fan. What he represents, what he stands for, people believing like Messi. From the time Messi burst onto the scene, everyone knew this guy was going to be the greatest player. But Ronaldo, there were so many doubts. Even in the Premier League, people were saying he could only just do like leg overs and step overs, nothing special. This guy had to really, really, really fight. But even before he went to Madrid, even when going to Madrid, there was still a lot of doubts. He had to prove himself against Messi in the La Liga, leaving Messi, going to Juventus, coming back to Man U. Even when he came back to United, that guy, he did double figures for us. I think 17 or 18 goals, close to 20 for a team that was underperforming. Like, what are we talking about? Why I'll choose the MetLife Stadium as my number one choice is what I always say. When you do good architecture, it's invisible. When you can design something so simple that it takes the backstage and then the events that are meant to happen there take center stage, I think that's really something that we should applaud. So I've talked about four stadiums with four completely different philosophies, and that's the power of architecture, right? It's not about doing it one way and feeling like that's the only way to do it. There are different ways to achieve the same goal. So just to cap up this video, I'm going to tell you why I like all the four stadiums. For the first one is the perfect example of reusing and adapting. For the second one is the perfect example of something that's lightweight and sunken. And the third one is masterpiece in a historic reference and using a modern material to accomplish it. While the last one is literally a multi-purpose machine. The MetLife Stadium is a machine, a multi-purpose machine. It can do so many things. It doesn't only host matches, it holds events, it holds a lot of things. So